Considering today's standards of raising animals, of curing meats, I don't fully understand this, as I think I should, the restriction that we have on pork.
Sister. All right, I'll explain it to you. No, I'll do even better than that. I'll show you, but this is purely in the interest of science, you understand. And here we have the bush pig, as it says, closely related to the domestic pig. Now, do you know why not to eat from the pig?
Well, the pig contains certain disease-causing organisms.
Right. Right, you're exactly right. Now, that's the physical aspect.
The most common cause of adult-onset epilepsy in the world is called neurocysticercosis, which literally means pork tapeworms curled up inside our brain. On CT scan, there can be so many in the brain at one time, it can appear similar to a starry sky. Each star is a fluid-filled cyst with the beginning of a living, growing tapeworm inside. This is what they look like on autopsy. This is what their face looks like. They have these rings of hooks to grab onto our brain tissue. Earlier this year, a review was published by the CDC. Pork tapeworms on the brain has emerged as a cause of severe neurologic disease in the United States. Even after pork tapeworm larvae infect our brain, some people remain asymptomatic their entire lives, while others can go for years without symptoms and then suddenly become very ill with seizures, headaches, and other focal neurological deficits as the larvae multiply within the nervous system and other tissues and can cause sudden death.
There's also the mental or psychological aspects, and there's the spiritual reasons why we're not supposed to eat of the pig. Look at the characteristics of a pig. He's sloppy, he's greedy. Greedy like a pig, isn't that what they say? They also say you are what you eat. So what we put into our mouths affects our minds and our heart. We don't want to take on these characteristics of sloppiness, of uncleanliness, of selfishness. Now, from a spiritual aspect or a spiritual standpoint, the Bible and the Quran teaches us that it is divinely forbidden for us to eat of any pig. In various chapters in the Bible and the Quran, it talks about this. So from a physical standpoint, from a mental or a psychological standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint, we don't want anything to do with this animal.
Soul food, comfort food. Though there are disparaging rates of diabetes, heart disease, cancer, high blood pressure, and countless other preventable illnesses, the fat-laden, high-sodium, and processed sugar diet is rarely listed as a contributing factor. We must question the means by which these particular foods ended up on our plates. With unimaginable levels of brutality and force, they imposed upon Africans a diet of refuse which barely even sustained them through the harsh journey of the Middle Passage. Many could not endure the conditions of inhumane treatment. Those who did were subject to the diet which was given by the hand of their oppressor. They usually consisted of cash crops brought in by European settlers, which proved ideal for productivity. Most of these crops had little to no nutritional value, but were only preferred for their high yield and abundance.
They force-fed us because some people they didn't like the food, but it's a combination of chisel, knock out the front teeth, and then stick this pipe down your throat and pour it into a funnel and force-feed you. This in order to get you to over a 1 month journey, a 10-story ship.
A lot of the food that they gave us on the slave ship was actually, just the scraps. It was what they had left of after they ate. And then they on the ship themselves, they don't have much cargo and food, so it was just what they had, slop.
These are their food rations? I can understand why they need an enema.
Actually, it's not bad. A pint of cornmeal per head, half a pint of beans, half a pound of yams, 3 pounds of pork fat.
Whoa! Get your facts straight. Just 2 pounds of fat. Look at them. Just look at them. They'll gobble anything you give them. Eating and pleasuring, that's what they want. And they want to survive. They survive everything. Whippings, syphilis, cholera, the heat, the cold. Their strength is their adaptability. Come heaven or hell, they'll fill their bellies and spew out dozens of pups.
They were literally forced to eat the garbage of the plantations that they were enslaved on. The slaves were forced to eat the entrails, the feet, the knuckles, which are the ham hocks, the stomach, which are hog maws, the tails, the ears, and so forth. They were literally forced to eat the garbage of the plantations.
They have manipulated the dietary system to get us to believe that we was low on the totem pole, and naturally, you know, we were slaves, and naturally we had dog mentality. So therefore, if you're a dog and you're on the low totem pole, then they give you dog food.
With all of the pressures of life in general, food and sustenance were merely a means of survival, even after emancipation. The eating habits we took on closely mirrored the rations we had been given in the slave quarters.
Soul Food is a movie about a big, humongous black grandmother, aptly named Big Mama. Big Mama demonstrates her love by feeding herself and her offspring enormous amounts of pig lard. Then, get this, Big Mama's arteries are so clogged, they gotta amputate her arm.
It was her leg.
Right, okay, whatever, leg. Then, she dies of a heart attack. Or another stroke, or something.
God called her home.
And what does the family do after she dies? They get together for a Sunday dinner and eat the same food that just killed Big Mama. The same food! They didn't learn a lesson. Nobody went on a diet, and that's the end of the movie.